Hey Sagittarius, what's going on? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Two of Wands. Two of Wands is kind of looking like a balancing act. And now we have Justice coming out. And Ace of Pentacles. Two of Wands, rather than feeling like a choice to me, it feels more so like using your options together to achieve what you want, to grasp what you want. Having justice, having this theme of justice come out here, there can be a debate about really the right way to go about something, and then also having Ace of Pentacles here can indicate that there is a new chapter that's materializing. It's like the cards almost want to come out, but not yet. Almost like a decision is being made. There's a feeling of being a little bit subdued about this chapter. Why would this be? If you have something that's just newly happening, it feels like there aren't a whole lot of feelings to even attach to this in the first place. So why do we have Eight of Swords there? Why is it feeling like we have this thing and you're feeling stuck? Feels like a bit of a blockage here. Wow, okay. These are energies that I don't necessarily expect to sort of see with one another. Above Five of Swords is justice. What this means is that if there had been... Five of Swords is a card of change. It's a card of conflict. Five of Swords can be a card of there being a lack of compassion, a lack of humility, especially having justice be above it. Because justice is about harmony, harmony within society, the way that things work, and about our relationships and what it takes for things to function the way that they need to. When you have Five of Swords, this is an uncooperative energy. Five of Swords is an energy that can be kind of self-serving. Five of Swords is an energy that is sort of just concerned with self and not really concerned about whoever else is on the other side of... It feels like some type of exchange that's going on here. And Five of Swords is also not a cooperative energy, but justice requires cooperation. So having justice above Five of Swords, if somebody was acting in the energy of the Five of Swords, which can be very much a solo, I'm doing what's good for me, but from a place that it's like a false thing. Because Five of Swords isn't really acting from a place of what's good for me. It's more so what puts me at an advantage and puts you at a disadvantage, and that being the motivation for it. Having justice above here shows that the scales are going to be balanced. So when somebody is making a choice, thinking about how do I get mine, and also I don't care how this impacts you, and I don't care that what I'm doing negatively impacts you, justice is coming through and is going to rebalance the scales now. And what I'm seeing too is that we have Ace of Pentacles and we have Nine of Cups, which shows that a new chapter that you wanted, something that you wanted, is materializing, because we have Nine of Cups here. You can be worried about what's going to be happening. This feels like in the very near future. You can also be deciding that you're not going to be part of something you don't want to be part of anymore. Something that doesn't feel worth it to you to be involved in. And something that you can feel like, too, you're not really going to get what you need from this regardless. It can be a time of acceptance when it comes to how you're feeling. And there can be a plan that's being made that's associated with that. However, it also feels like there's fear that's connected with this too. If you have to make a plan that's based off of what you are feeling in your heart, feels like there's a clear way to go with this. But I do get this feeling of being stuck. It's like you know that you want to walk out the door and then feeling frozen in the threshold, but that's just the way that you need to go here with this, just to trust yourself and do that, and that this is the plan that's being made. But it can also feel simultaneously very terrifying. But having Ace of Pentacles and having Nine of Cups shows this is what you want, and like really truly, not just on a surface level, on a deep level, like you going into this next chapter, this is really what you want. Like things are really here, things are arriving. Having Justice and having Five of Swords feels like there is something that's being corrected that needed to be corrected. I don't know whose energy this is. I don't know if this is you. I don't know if this is somebody around you. It's really whoever is acting in this way that is the Five of Swords, which can be this... I almost get this feeling with the Five of Swords as kind of being above the law in some way, and Justice is here saying that's actually not what's going to happen with this. Justice is here showing that this is going to be balanced back out, actually. Can we get more insight about that? I wonder if there's some type of feud even here. It shows that the Five of Swords is going to be corrected. There's pain involved in whatever this is, but it's actually on both sides too. Because when somebody is embodying the energy of the Five of Swords, it's actually somebody that is feeling terrified, scared, not willing to be vulnerable, and also making choices that, from a place of desperation, they feel like life isn't fair, and so they have to take things even if it impacts other people in negative ways, and that's just what they need to do for themselves. And so it actually comes from a place of pain. But having Justice here shows that the scales are going to be balanced. So if you've been dealing with a situation where something has been going on and you felt like we're supposed to be cooperating or working together, and the opposite of that has been happening, justice shows that there's going to be a bringing this back to into balance where it hadn't been before. There is a feeling of being exhausted by this. Five of Swords and Nine of Cups is so weird to see together, because Nine of Cups is like when you really get to the center of your heart and what you want, what you wish for, what you hope for, what you feel like is going to bring happiness and connection and joy into your life. That is what the Nine of Cups is. Nine of Cups is that wish fulfillment. Having Five of Swords there can be somebody that feels like the only way for them to get what they want is by doing things where there's a total disregard for anybody else and how it impacts anybody else. What this can also mean is this feeling of I'm not good enough for what I want. But because Five of Swords is that lack of vulnerability, but Nine of Cups also sort of requires vulnerability, it's a weird setup to see these cards next to one another. Because somebody can really be trying to tap into what they feel like is going to bring them joy and make them happy, but having that Five of Swords is a very strange way to try to go about it. Where kind of the means that one uses to get to the ends of the Nine of Cups actually ruin the Nine of Cups and don't allow them to reach that. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of the energy of like manipulating somebody into dating you, and then feeling like not happy because they're not choosing you out of their own desire to date you. It feels like that type of thing to me. Like forcing something to happen because that's what you want, but like you forced it to happen, and so there wasn't that things actually coming together, because one feels like if they try to have it come together without sort of manipulating everything, that it just won't work for them, because they have to do things in a way that there's like not that belief and not that trust in sort of the cosmic unfolding of things. And so there's always that sort of hand, always that sort of manipulation on things. And then feeling that obvious Nine of Swords that's there, that comes from a place of this wasn't properly earned actually. It almost feels like I did all of this to gain something, and then the fleeting nature sort of kicking in. Like there being some type of consequence even I'm seeing within the energy. I even feel like this is one of those times where someone may have wanted something so badly, but the means didn't really justify it at all, and then getting that thing but feeling like it's not unattached to the means. It's like if you get something and do it in some type of way that you actually feel conflicts with your values, and then you have that thing and you're like, well, I got it anyway, but then you're sitting within that, there's turmoil that comes with it. Having this 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, and 7 of Cups is feeling like, why don't I feel the way that I thought that I was going to feel? There being this sense of confusion, tension. Having 8 of Swords can be this having to work through a time that feels, there's a lot of anxiety there. And then having 9 of Swords there can be a very big concern about what's going to be happening, and there being confusion about that. And then we also have 5 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, which is like not feeling good at all about this situation. So I don't know if the 5 of Swords is your energy. I don't know if it's somebody else's energy that you've been dealing with, but it does feel like there is a feeling of being drained. So this chapter is happening, but there's almost this, like, I don't even care about it. After doing all of that stuff, there's this, I don't really care about it. And it feels like needing to make a choice to have justice and to have 8 of Wands, not 8 of Wands, Ace of Wands, feels like needing to take the opportunity to make something right if that is your energy here, if you need to make something right. To describe the energy again with 5 of Swords and 9 of Cups, it's like, it reminds me of how sometimes if you watch baseball reels, how a baseball will be going into the crowd and like a little kid will catch it, and then you'll have like an adult that will snatch it out of their hands. That's what this feels like to me. Like 9 of Cups is I want something really badly, but 5 of Swords is that like way of going about doing it where like the ball gets snatched out of that kid is the one that caught it, but then the person snatches the ball out of the hand, and it's like that person got what they wanted, yeah, but there's that feeling of how I went about doing that. Those are the means to get to the ends, and it feels like it's not justified. So then having justice and having 8 of Wands feels like an avenue that can be taken to rebalance the scales, which can be like giving the kid the ball back. It can be something that needs to be done because it feels like there's this, I have the ball now, but now something within me doesn't feel right, and it's because of how I went about getting it, so it kind of ruined it for me. So I'm seeing that be what's going on here within the energy, and then it's like, well, what do I do here? And it feels very obvious, like you're gonna stay feeling like this unless you take the opportunity to make this right. But it can be something that feels really challenging to do because of not knowing what's gonna happen then. This almost feels too like a scenario where it looks like something was going on where, like, let's say that this is your energy. You could have felt like something was going on, but it wasn't really enough for you. It may have not been sort of like what you needed. It may have not felt sustainable for you. So then you make a move that feels like this is how I get what I want, this is how I get what I need, but then having all of that paranoia attached to it because of the way of doing it and that not sitting well with you, and then having to correct this. Like, you have the opportunity to correct this, but that feeling within you that I think doesn't really want to be held accountable or is like trying to get away from that, of course, your ego being like, don't say what we did, don't say what we did. It feels like that part that doesn't want to deal with the consequences of what happened if you come out with this. Just like the person that took the ball from the kid, it's like you could totally own up to it and apologize or do whatever and give the ball back, or you could even send it anonymously to try not to get heat from it, or you could keep it and try to run away from this, but you're not going to be able to with justice here, because it shows that from a level of your conscience, it's already very obvious that this is like inflamed here, that this is blowing up here. And so there's nowhere to go where you can outrun this. And so I'm not actually seeing it be all that confusing, really, what the thing is to do here. It's like what you deem as being the opportunity that will rebalance the scales after what was done. And we have our reasons for doing it. This isn't about shame. It isn't about guilt. This is about you having a feeling within you that, again, if this is you, I did something that I saw as being selfish, or I saw as being this, or I saw as being that, or I felt desperate because I knew that I needed to get what I need and I wasn't getting it in that situation, and so this is just what I felt like I had to do. It feels like an ownership of what has happened and then owning up to it. But there can be fear that sort of deters you. Basically, what it feels like the choice coming down to is that you can either stay feeling like this and you're just going to stay feeling like this and it's a way that you don't want to be feeling, or you can take the opportunity to balance the scales and then things can actually get better from there. I wonder if there's some type of fear of abandonment that's connected with this. Fear of abandonment, fear of some type of consequence, and then also feeling like it may put you out to sort of own up to this or balance the scales, however that's going to look for your situation, but it being necessary to just like come out with it, really. The only major arcana that I'm seeing here is justice, which is about ultimately doing the right thing. And that being the way to go with this. This can also be the direction that you feel the most anxiety about, but you can also feel like it's the way that you need to go with it. And that's why this is sort of sticking with you. So it looks like there is and for some of you, I don't know if you've actually done this yet. You may not have done this yet. What I'm seeing with Two of Wands, Five of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, this can be making a plan from a place of fear. Making a plan to do something. There being conflict sort of infused in this as well. And this can be something that you see as only benefiting you, but it's ironic because it doesn't actually benefit you. It's like what your shadow tells you is going to benefit you to get that new chapter, but from a place where it's just a lot of fear that's involved in this. But if you do actually want the thing that you want at the end of the day, if you want to actually connect with the thing that will feel fulfilling to you, that it feels like there's a clear path. Because having Justice and having Nine of Cups feels like when the scales are balanced, things really do fall into place. But there can be a lack of trust about that. And basically working with the part of yourself that may want to do something, but do something from a place of fear. And shy away from the opportunity to balance the scales. The thing is, having the Seven of Cups here, I almost feel like there are options that are being presented to you, but they're not like real options from what I'm seeing. It feels like Justice and Ace of Wands is the only actual option, and the only reason you haven't already gone in that direction is because of being scared, basically, of like what's gonna unfold. And the being scared or whatever else isn't the thing that holds you back. It's the choice to allow it to. Because the thing in itself isn't the thing that stops you. It's making the choice that that's what I'm going to make the choice about. Because having Justice and having Ace of Wands, this is you knowing that when you're making choices that navigate into a place where you are nurturing a balanced spirit within you. And this can also be something that's socially going on too. That this is how you basically grow justice, grow balance, grow harmony and cooperation within your life versus doing something else that will do the opposite of that. And then you're going to have a new chapter and you're going to feel like not good about it because you knew what the right thing was to do. I want to see if there's anything else. Feels like carefully weighing your options. There being conflict about this, but it feels clear to me what you know within you. You can be worried about what's going to happen in the future, and that can be part of this as well. Yeah, that's the challenge. The challenge is working with that part of yourself that doesn't really want to be seen. Because there's a part of you that can be telling you it's going to be easier if we do it this way. And it may be easier in the moment, but the backlash that this is going to have on you internally from a place of your conscience is not going to be worth it. As I'm already seeing here, this will be something that you feel like, yeah, I got what I wanted, or I did what I wanted, but there's that feeling of, I took that baseball from that kid. That's really the vibe that I get from this. And that if you already made the choice, you can make the choice to give it back. It does feel clear the way to go now. It feels like less of there being all of these options. Yeah, it's like a rumbling within that I'm seeing, where there's this, how you really feel about something, and the rumbling starting to happen if there's not an expression of that you feel is true to you, and a choice that's made out of fear instead, and sort of the consequences that will breed for you, rather than doing something because you feel like this is the right thing to do, having other reasons that will motivate what you do, and then having to bear the consequences of that. And I think if you play this to the end, you don't want those consequences. So the correction needs to happen. And that being that. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.